Hi there, welcome back to my views and news views. I am traveling, and after a few hours, I'll be able to get home. Traveled for the last 4 weeks, and after 2 to 3 days, we'll resume live chats too because I'm returned to my country. I thought of doing a video on Abiy's policy about Eritrea because a viewer shared an important update and some input with me. We had a discussion about Abiy's policy. What does he actually want? And is his policy about Eritrea going to work or not? What is he trying to achieve? Does he want an all-out war against Eritrea? Does he want some sort of assurances from Eritrea? They're very important questions. So all the day while I was flying from China to Pakistan, I was working on this video. I want to share my input with you. I might be wrong, but this is how I see the situation between Eritrea and Ethiopia. People say, Sajid, war is about to break out. Horn of Africa is going to see another war, and you are not covering it. You don't know the region. You don't know the developments happening in the region. Well, there is a term used called brinkmanship. In diplomacy, in foreign relations, this term is used, brinkmanship. Brinkmanship largely means that a party wants to achieve its objectives by exerting pressure upon the other side, by taking matters to a level of high tension, but it wants to achieve its objectives through this pressure. It is not preparing for war. It is basically flexing its muscles, warning the other side that this is what we can do. If you don't meet our requirements, if you don't fulfill our demands. So is Abiy following a controlled sort of brinkmanship, or has he decided that if Eritrea does not stop, he will wage full-scale war on Eritrea? Well, firstly, Abiy's policy is very dangerous. I mean, when you are arming troops on your soil against your neighboring country, you're playing with fire. Abiy is playing with fire. He is arming, he's training Brigade Hamidu, ENC, Rasado, etc. But as I always say, it takes two to tango. Isaias Afwerki government is building a regional alliance against Ethiopia to stop Ethiopia from gaining access to sea. I believe, I have this feeling that the main issue between these two countries is access to sea. People might not agree with me. They would say, Sajid, Pretoria was the breaking point when the divorce happened. Others would say, Sajid, withdrawal of ENDF from Tegarai in 2021 was maybe the first sign of divorce between Eritrea and Ethiopia. Well, I believe that the latest issue between the two countries is access to sea. Abiy wants access to sea. He wants to do something which no Ethiopian leader has done in the past. And yes, if he manages to get sea access for Ethiopia in the form of a lease agreement, in the form of a sustainable access to sea, definitely he'll be remembered in history. He wants that. He wants this big decision. And he knows that if he makes this decision, maybe he will be able to prolong his stay in power. He was promised by Eritrea that he will gain access to sea, Ethiopia will gain access during the war. Promises were not fulfilled. Abiy then tried to lure Eritrea into having a share in Ethiopian profitable entities. Isaias Afwerki is a very shrewd security analyst, I would say. He's not an economist, but he knows the security very well. Security situation in the region. He knows that Abiy could be in trouble anytime if armed groups start joining hands and TPLF decides to stand up to Abiy. Abiy could be in trouble. And secondly, the way Abiy signed Pretoria, the way Pretoria was not implemented, uh, Eritrea does not trust Abiy. So Eritrea showed no interest. Abiy got frustrated. Then he resorted to the campaign of veiled threats. Now, basically, Abiy is following a campaign of veiled threats and brinkmanship. He wants to put so much pressure upon Eritrea that Eritrea crumbles under the pressure and agrees to either give sea access to Ethiopia, or at least it should stop backing the elements which oppose sea access for Ethiopia. By the way, Abiy tried the same policy against Somalia. Policy failed. Abiy's brinkmanship on the issue of access to sea through Somaliland did not work. I said that Ankara deal was basically a deal of capitulation for the Ethiopian government, just like Pretoria deal was a deal of capitulation for the TPLF. So Abiy's brinkmanship on the issue of access to sea through Somaliland did not work. Why? Because Somalia got support from Eritrea, Egypt, and it managed to thwart Abiy's plans. If Somalia, a weak country, Hassan Sheikh, a weaker leader, if Somalia can thwart Ethiopian intentions, Ethiopian policy, Eritrea can do more than that. Yes, Eritrea is a small country, but very organized, huge military, huge infantry, I would say. Isaias Afwerki has vast experience of fighting wars, of interfering in other countries. He is a hard nut to crack. Abiy is no match for Isaias Afwerki's capabilities. That is why I don't see Eritrea coming under pressure. So Abiy's brinkmanship about Eritrea won't work. Rather, we could see this inexperienced brinkmanship leading to an armed confrontation. Now, let me just be a little clear for you. Abiy is not preparing for war, but his policy of brinkmanship is faulty. It won't work. Rather, it could lead to more tensions between the two countries. Eritrea could start supporting Ethiopian opposition groups, could try to build a large anti-Ethiopia alliance. So that could lead to a war, definitely. Policy of the Ethiopian government is not policy of war. Eritrea, Somalia, Egypt, to some extent, isolated Ethiopia. Ethiopia lacks allies in the region. Abiy will have to find allies. This controlled aggression will be met with controlled aggression. If the aggression remains controlled, we could see just no peace, no wars, sort of bilateral relations, a little bit of tension. But if things get out of control, then we could see conflict, a major conflict. This is how I see Abiy's policy about Eritrea. Do share your input in the comment section. Uh, I could not get better atmosphere for recording this video, so excuse me for the lighting, for the quality of the audio. Thank you. See you in the next video. Bye bye.